Hey everybody, it's Craig with Smartphone Envy, and I got a great face-off for you today, the one we've all been waiting for. Samsung Galaxy S2 versus the HTC EVO 3D. I want to thank my friends over at Best Buy Mobile, especially Monica, for sending me up with this HTC EVO 3D. If you're in need of a smartphone, don't forget to stop by Best Buy Mobile, and if you're in the TO Mall, stop by and say hello to Monica and have her set you up. Also, don't forget to stop by smartphoneenvy.com. Check out the written review as well as photos and videos taken from both of today's contestants. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should be able to find a link in the description and get you right over to Smartphone Envy. All right, let's kick off our face-off, the Samsung Galaxy S2. Quad-band GSM, quad-band 3G, also runs on AT&T's 4G network, weighs in at 116 grams, definitely the lighter of the two. As far as build quality, you've got Gorilla Glass, you've got a metal band that runs around the entire perimeter of the display. Behind that is a high-grade plastic rim. Again, that encompasses the entire phone, also a portion of the bottom where you find the phone speaker. Upper middle of the back of the phone is the 8-megapixel camera as well as the LED flash. Battery cover is quite thin and made out of a rubberized plastic. Battery itself, you got a 1650 milliamp hour battery rated at 8 hours and 40 minutes of talk time. Micro SD card slot is right here, so it's definitely not hot swappable. One of the other thing that's interesting about the Galaxy S2 is just how thin it is. Take a look at the profile right there. Up on top is the 3.5mm headphone jack along with one of the microphones. Right hand side, power and lock key. Bottom, the other microphone, micro USB port, which also acts as the HDMI out. And on the left hand side is the volume rocker. Alright, HTC's EVO 3D. Dual band CDMA, EVDO Rev A 3G, WiMAX 4G connectivity, weighs in at 170 grams. Build quality, again, you've got Gorilla Glass, a lot of high grade plastic around the display itself. You've got some nice chrome accents on the camera mode key as well as the dedicated shutter key. Got a nice Ferrari red stripe around the dual 5-megapixel cameras. Nice little chrome logo for HTC. It's got a nice crisscross pattern which gives it a real solid feel in your hand. Doesn't feel like you drop it at all, which is nice. Pull off the battery cover. Again, is made out of a rubberized plastic, as you can see there, also quite thin. Battery, 1730 milliamp hour battery rated at 8 hours of talk time. Right here's your micro SD card slot. Again, it is not hot swappable, which is too bad. Put that back on. Up on top, 3.5mm headphone jack along with one of the microphones and the power and lock key. On the right hand side is the volume rocker up and down. Camera mode switch, jeez, it's easy for me to say. Dedicated shutter key. On the bottom is the microphone, and on the left hand side is the micro USB port, which also acts as the HDMI out on the EVO 3D as well. Alright, let's talk cameras. Galaxy S2 offers an 8-megapixel camera with autofocus, LED flash, geotagging, touch focus, face and smile detection, as well as image stabilization. Video capture is 1080p at 30 frames per second. EVO 3D offers dueling 5-megapixel cameras with autofocus, dual LED flash, face detection, as well as geotagging. It captures stills in both 2D and 3D, as well as video. Video capture is 720p at 30 frames per second. Alright, let's take a look at the displays on both because we've got a couple of good ones. Let's get them fired up. Alright, let's see if we can get there. There we go. That's what I was after. Get it fully lit. I think we've got them centered. Alright, Samsung Galaxy S2. They both offer 4.3-inch displays. On the Galaxy S2, it's 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus capacitive touch display, resolution of 480 by 800, offers an accelerometer sensor, proximity sensor, multi-touch, as well as a gyro sensor. Upper left-hand corner, 2-megapixel camera for video calls. Below the display, you've got 3 keys, 2 touch-sensitive keys, main menu key and back key, as well as 1 physical home key. On the EVO 3D, you've got a 4.3-inch 3D Super LCD capacitive touch display with a QHD resolution of 540 by 960. Again, offers an accelerometer sensor, proximity sensor, multi-touch, as well as a gyro sensor. Upper right-hand corner, a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera for video calls. Below the display, you have 4 touch-sensitive keys, home key, main menu key, back key, as well as search key. As far as memory, the Galaxy S2 comes in 2 versions, one with 16 gigabytes, the other with 32 gigabytes of internal storage. Both offer 1 gigabyte of RAM. Internal storage can be expanded an additional 32 gigabytes through the use of a micro SD card. On the EVO 3D, comes with 4 gigabytes of internal storage, again 1 gigabyte of RAM, and again you can expand internal storage, additional 32 gigabytes through the use of a micro SD card. On the Galaxy S2, it offers Wi-Fi 802.11a, B, G, and N, along with DLNA and support for HDMI out through the micro SD port. micro USB port, excuse me. On the EVO 3D, it offers Wi-Fi 802.11 BGNN, DLNA, and HDMI out, same process. Both offer Bluetooth version 3.0 with support for A2DP. The Galaxy S2 also offers high-speed data transfer. They both offer GPS with support for AGPS. Both can be used as Wi-Fi hotspots. The processor on the Galaxy S2 is the Exynos 1.2 GHz dual-core processor. On the EVO 3D, it's the Qualcomm 1.2 GHz MSM8660 dual-core processor. Operating system is Android 2.3 Gingerbread on both. The UI on the Galaxy S2 is Samsung TouchWiz 4.0, and on the EVO 3D, it's HTC Sense 3.0. Alrighty, what do you say we get this party started? I've stopped by the Android market, downloaded the Quadrant Center benchmark test on both contestants, got a good clean start, and we're off. Again, both are running 1.2 gigahertz processors. Both have 1 GB of RAM. So let's see who comes out on top. The EVO 3D is tearing through it at the moment. And if you've got supervision, lower left-hand corner, you can see the frames per second and frame rate, as well as a good shot of the 3D Super LCD display with the 540 by 960 resolution up against the Super AMOLED Plus on the Galaxy S2. We're into 3D graphics on both. We've got one more test coming up on the EVO 3D, and we've got two more on the Galaxy S2. Alright, we've got our results back on the EVO 3D. Came back at 1888. It's our benchmark score on the EVO 3D. And on the Galaxy S2, came back with 3359. So really not even close. Our Quadrant Center benchmark test winner is the Samsung Galaxy S2. Alright, I think it's time for our unofficial speed test. And both of these phones have task managers where you can kill all the background apps. So we're going to do that on both. Gives you an idea of how much memory is being used while they're doing nothing or sitting idle. Anyway, let's get back to the home screen. There we go. And let's try the calendar first. It was definitely the Galaxy S2. That was definitely the Galaxy S2. That was definitely the Galaxy S2. Let's try people. I think the EVO's going to win that. No? Wow. That's a Galaxy S2. Let's try messaging. That looked like a draw. Let's try the phone app on both. That was a Galaxy S2. Let's try the market on both. That was definitely the EVO 3D. I'm tired of waiting on the Galaxy S2 for that. What else have we got? What haven't we tried? Let's go to movies on both. And for some reason I put that someplace like a bonehead. Where are you? There's movies, and this is third party, and we're off. And again, they're both running off the same Wi-Fi network. And that was obviously the Galaxy S2. So in our unofficial speed test, along with our Quadrant Center benchmark test, Galaxy S2 is considerably quicker than the EVO 3D. It's time to run a couple YouTube videos. So let's kick this off. Katy Perry and Rolling Stone and Things That Go Boom. Again, they're both running off the same Wi-Fi network. They're both set to default HQ. And that one.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday show. My name is Will Franco, and this show really isn't a show. It's just me talking about some of the stuff that matters in the news today, starting with this man walking past the car on fire. Don't do it! No! That was awesome. That's why cool people in movies walk away from explosions.
All right, let's switch the position so we get the same lighting on both. All right, let's pick another one. I guess Phil's going to be our big guy today.
Hello and welcome to the Tuesday show. If you're not familiar, my name is Will Franco, and this show is really just me talking about some of the stuff that matters in the news to me, starting with it's a happy day for American smokers. New packs of cigarettes in 2012 will have new warnings. We've seen this in places in Europe, Canada, but here are some of the amazingly disgusting.
All right, let's take a look at one more. Since I got you here, and we're off. Whoop, little advantage to the...
Look at me now, haters! Look at me now, haters! Look at me now, Girls out in a limousine, paid by YouTube. We're gonna get up on liquor.
Wow, that was inspiring. Anyway, there's a look at the YouTube comparison, and the Galaxy S2 spooled up all three of the videos, even the third one where the EVO 3D had the advantage of my fumbling finger starting the EVO 3D ahead of time. So the Galaxy S2 was definitely our spool up speed winner in each one of the three videos, and I'll let you decide which of the two displays you like the look of better. Alright, I'm going to do my best to provide a little entertainment via gaming. Actually, I'm not going to look for entertainment, but give you an idea of what the two phones look like gaming. They both don't run Asphalt 5, and they both don't run Asphalt 6. So I've got Asphalt 5 on the Galaxy S, which I will start with. And then I'll move down to the EVO 3D, and we'll look at Asphalt 6. It helps when I put my finger over the speaker. God, it's hard to do through a camera. Alright, so that's the Galaxy S with Asphalt 5, and now the EVO 3D with Asphalt 6. If you run this game in 3D, you actually have to use you can't tilt to steer, you actually have to use your fingers on the display to turn, and I found that incredibly confusing. Don't have that much talent to start with, so that was really threw me for a loop. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. This is not going to be in 3D, it's 2D. God, it's impossible to do through a camera. Take a little detour down the beach. And we're back. I'm gonna nail that guy. There we go. Alright, so there's a look at the EVO 3D running Asphalt 6 in 2D. I think it's time to run our navigation comparison. And again, I've got the GS2 is the European version, so I don't have a dedicated search key like I do on the EVO 3D. Navigate to Corner Bakery. It looks like both of them are going to handle it quite well. And they've both got the route already down here, as you can see. Waiting for
turn left onto La Venta Road, then turn left onto Icara Road.
Alright, so the Galaxy S2 had no problems. You can see it grabbed the GPS, and here goes the EVO 3D. Do I have the volume turned all the way down? Nope, navigation volume's up. I don't know why it's not spewing out our voice-guided turn-by-turn navigation. Is it on mute? No, it's not on mute either, because I know it worked earlier today, so I'm not quite sure why we're not getting the voice-guided turn-by-turn on the EVO 3D. I know it works. And the GS2 had no problem whatsoever. Again, you can double-tap to zoom in, pinch to zoom, as well as pinch to zoom out on both. Again, we're looking at the satellite view. And pinch to zoom. And both redraw very quickly. Both of them, I think, pass with flying colors. I'm not quite sure we're not getting the turn-by-turn navigation out of the EVO 3D, because I know it does work.